Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.
Hello and welcome to another sensational episode of Classic Restos, thanks to the fine people of Shannons Insurance and Penrite Oil. Pommy car, Aussie car, Yankee car, Jap car, doesn't matter what kind of car, it should be with Shannons Insurance. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote on 134646. They have an incredible website and a chance for you to sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. See more when you visit Shannons online at shannons.com.au. And don't forget the Shannons Club, where it truly is your garage. And when it comes time for the finest in oils, coolants, fuel additives, the list goes on, you cannot go past Penrite. They've been established since 1926. Australian made, Australian owned, they have stood the test of time. The products from Penrite are so diverse, and the technical assistance line is there to help you 7 days a week. Find out more when you visit Penrite at penrite.com.au. Oil right, use Penrite, simply a better class of oil. And on today's show, it's time to see some small cars that pack a big punch within their fraternities. I have travelled to Silverwater Park, just west of Sydney, New South Wales, to an event that's called Small Cars on the Green, where some of the finest Japanese classics can be seen. The humble Japanese car is often forgotten about when it comes time to talking classics around the campfire or sitting at the bar. They are often overshadowed by the big three. And when you look at the size of the country where the big three originated, it's easy to see why. But here is something I bet you didn't know. The Ford Motor Company of Japan was established in 1925, and a production plant was set up in Yokohama. General Motors established operations in Osaka in 1927. And Chrysler also came to Japan and set up Kyoritsu Motors. Between 1925 and 1936, the United States Big Three automakers' Japanese subsidiaries produced a total of over 200,000 vehicles. Now, credit is given where credit is due. The Japanese started building cars in the early 1900s, and when it came to build quality, body style and performance in their class, like it or not, they sent some of the more expensive European brands running for the hills. Well, let's just say, kept them on their toes, with everyone chasing their piece of pie in the global automotive marketplace. And if you still need some more convincing as to why the Japanese car fits the classic bracket, well, here is some very interesting statistics. Now, I could have woken up one morning with my face stapled to the carpet, and I wouldn't have been more surprised, because this is amazing. 1917 was the year of the first Mitsubishi car. 1918, the first Isuzu car. 1931, the first Mazda. 1936, the first Toyota. 1954, the first Subaru. 1955, the first Suzuki. 1957, the first Daihatsu. And in 1963, Honda's first production car, the S500, was introduced. You want to know something else? They can all be insured with Shannons, and they all run on Penrite Oil. How cool is that? What an exciting little event is this. Hello, George.
How you going, Fletch?
Good, mate, good. I've got to say, I really like these Japanese cars. 1972, a Capella, a Rotary, a 12A. Tell us about it, George.
It's a Mazda Capella RX-2, 12A, built in 72, followed the R100, and just a great car to drive.
Aren't they cool? I mean, really, they are. And they're finished so well. They're such a nice car. Before we start talking about the interior, George, let's just have a talk about the Rotary. Now, you've fully rebuilt this. Tell us what you've done.
What I've done, Fletch, is the motor's been rebuilt, all engine bays painted, and everything's been built from ground up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, George. You have to educate me here as I go, and I'm sure watching at home as well, you might find interesting as well. Sure. The rotary engine, as opposed to the conventional crankshaft pushrod engine, in terms of power, like what can we expect to see out of one of these little engines?
Fletch, the power to weight ratio is incredible. It's hard to compare it against equivalent to a 4-cylinder, which these came out in a 4-cylinder as well. Yep. And with the performance you can get out of this motor, is just it's incredible.
I mean, they're a light car. How much do they weigh, George?
870 kilos. Yep. Under the 1 tonne.
Talk about a pocket rocket.
That's
I mean,
right.
I've heard stories years ago, like on the Japanese bench testing of these rotaries, they used to rev them to destruction. They used to do like 18, 19,000 RPM.
That's exactly correct. The Taker only goes up to 8,000 RPMs, but we have taken it past.
That's factory standard.
That's right.
Hats off to you, George. Love the car. Thanks. Nice car. Interior as well. Gotta love that. All standard from the day
All
too in
standard.
1972.
Like rolled out of the factory. Yeah. Exactly.
Love what you've done, George.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Excellent.
All right, moving through the small cars on the green here, Silverwater Park, put on by the Vintage Mazdas Owners Club of New South Wales. How are you, Mick?
Not too bad, Fletch, yourself?
I'm good. Now, Mick, the reason I've picked on you've got one of these Mazda Bongo vans, a 1974 model, right?
Correct.
It would have to go down as probably one of the most uninspirational vehicles here on the paddock.
Oh, I couldn't be, well, for some maybe.
I mean, it took a while to find you, and I think I knew why you were hiding.
Yeah,
Anyone.
exactly.
Anyone that was game enough to bring a Bongo van here today needs 10 out of 10, mate.
Yeah, cheers for that, mate.
Now, it's powered by a 1-litre engine. Now, what's the go there? How does it drive?
As you would expect, pretty damn slow.
I saw you walking towards the van to do the interview, and when I saw him walking, I'm thinking, this guy is actually moving quicker than what his vehicle can do.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want to hit a big hill on it.
Okay, what's the plans for it, Mick? What are you going to do with it?
Mate, just leave it as it is, take it out a couple of times a year, and that's about it.
You're not going to fill it up with dirt and grow flowers out of it?
No, not yet.
Even when you open up the side door, you can see the factory rubber. It's very, very original. I mean, it's just one of those vans, I guess, that's just snuck through. It's snuck out the other side, and it's left intact.
Yeah, that's correct. Somehow it's being preserved. Most of them go from the rust. This one seems to be a pretty clean car and deserves to have a second chance.
Mick, in the serious department, there's lots of gleaming cars here today that have been fully restored. They look absolutely amazing. There's only room for so many interviews on Classic Restos. You've made the grade. It's such a unique van, and thanks for bringing it today, eh?
Appreciate it, Fletch.
No worries.
Cheers, mate.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers.
Stay safe in it, eh?
You will do.
Yeah. You can't go past Shannons Insurance. Pick up the phone and give them a call for a quote on 134646 and visit them online as well. Their website is comprehensive. There's promotions, giveaways and so much more for us as enthusiasts. Also an opportunity to sign up to become a member of the Shannons Club. Find out more when you visit shannons.com.au. And Penrite Oil, 1926, Australian owned, Australian made. The technical assistance team is there to help you 7 days a week. Find out more when you visit penrite.com.au. You're watching the 2014 Small Cars on the Green here at Silverwater Park, New South Wales. We'll be back with more Japanese classics right after this. Moving through Small Cars on the Green, put on by the Vintage Mazda Owners Club of New South Wales. Have the president now. We have Jay. Hello, Jay. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Fletch. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. 10 out of 10 today. You happy with the turnout?
Yeah, mate. It's been fantastic. Plenty of makes and models. Some of Australia's best cars are on display today. So, beautiful weather. Yep. You're out here, mate. Can't ask for more.
Thanks, Jay. Majority of Mazdas. How cool are they?
Mate, they're extremely cool. Look, no knocking at the other cars that have been on your show, but, mate, you can't beat Mazdas, mate. And also small cars. A lot of effort's been going into these cars over the years. Hard to get parts for them. Yep. Mate, it's a credit to a lot of these guys completing these cars and coming out.
Jay, you've got, you're going to tell us about your club, but before we find out about the club, tell us a little bit about the Mazda here.
Yeah, this is a 1975 model Mazda Series 4 RX-2. I bought it in a pretty bad state off a guy who recently became a paraplegic, had a motorbike accident. So I took it off his hands and I promised him that I'd bring it back to its former glory. So running out a bit of time for the show, I decided to turn it into a bit of a race car.
And you ran to the wire too, because it was finished like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I actually was working on it late last night, fitting the roll cage. So yeah, it's been a labour of love all the way to the last minute. Yeah.
Just quickly too, we could talk for a long time. How collectible now the rotary cars are. Apparently the values have just skyrocketed.
Yeah, like now you've seen a lot of Australian make cars are sort of the values hovering. But the Japanese makes they're definitely getting valuable now, very popular. And yeah, rightly so. They're a great car, and they're up until now they've sort of been in the unknown. But days like this bring it out, and Fletch bringing these cars to you, you can learn to appreciate how good they are.
Well, Classic Restos are certainly going to help the cause, Jay.
Yeah,
now, you're sitting watching the show and you're admiring what you see. If you want to be part of the Mazda Club, what's the rundown there?
Yeah, if you want to join the Mazda Club, you're only just an email away. It's www.vmoc.com.au, or shoot us an email directly to the club registrar. It's New South Wales _VMOC@hotmail.com.
That's awesome, Jay. And what a top bunch of guys they are. They're a great bunch of guys standing for the one thing, preserving classic Jap cars. You do a good job, mate, and need we say more?
Great, I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the viewers looking at this today, and hopefully you can come out next year.
Yeah,
Small Cars on the Green 2015.
And Jay, one thing about the food next year, mate. Get some sushi.
We'll look into that.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks very much, Fletch. Thank you.
Wouldn't read about it. Time for something to eat. Behind me got wood-fired pizza. Wouldn't you think that on a Japanese day that there'd be sushi? No sushi. Pizza. Okay, now time for Scott as we make our way through here today at Silverwater Park. Now, Scott, you've got a 71 Mazda, an RX-2. You've gone down the road of customising the car. Give us a quick rundown on what you've done.
Basically, there's a nice set of Simmons rims there, gold set of rims. Picked them up probably about 6, 7, 8 years ago. Whacked them on the car. Painted the car myself. Panel beated the car myself as well. Basically just took it all apart, cut all the rust out, put it all back together, and I painted it Ford blood orange. So yeah, it's not a bad car. Dropped a 13B, little mild 13B in it. So it's not too bad. There's a little turbo in there. It's a Mitsubishi Turbo TDI8. Yep. So it all sort of works well. There's a little computer in there that sort of keeps it running. I wouldn't mind fixing the computer up, but it's all good. It keeps everything running and spins the wheels and spins everything going.
I mean, let's talk about the colour just really quickly. That pops in the sun. I mean, it looks absolutely awesome. If you're wondering, it's a little bit dark here in our interview. Fletcher's done a bit of the wuss out. We've found some shade because, frankly, it's just too hot out there at the moment.
It certainly is, yeah. It's probably about 40 degrees, I reckon, in the sun, at least 40.
The car looks $1 million out there. The interior, all that stitched leather in there, the seats, the way they bolster. Gee, Scott, you haven't mucked around in the seating department.
Oh, no, I put a set of WRX seats in it just so they wrap around you, so when you go sideways around corners it sort of holds you and sticks you in there.
Yeah, this is on the racetrack, right, Scott?
This is in the paddock and in the racetrack, yeah, of course.
Because we do promote a responsible driving TV show here.
That's exactly it. I know that. I've been watching.
Okay, so where did you get the car from? I mean, these are the cars that are survivors, and we've said many times before on the show, these cars, like a lot of our classics, are the lucky ones. They've gone through life, they've snuck out the other side, and then guys like us have got a hold of them, which is really nice. Yeah. So do you know anything about the history of the car?
It come from a bloke. I bought it, I've had it for about 17 years now. I got it from a gentleman down in Wollongong. So as you could imagine, it was a bit rusty and so forth, and it was a British Racing Green, had hot wire rims. I've still got them at home, all sorts of bits and pieces on it. Had no motor and things like that. So it was basically just pull it all apart, cut all the rust out, fix it all up, panel beat it. It took me 10 years to do it, pull it apart and put it back together. It's sort of my pride and joy, you know. And yeah.
That's nice, Scott. And you got your family here today as well?
Yeah, I do, mate. 2 boys are here. My wife's over there, so it's all good. Yeah, they love coming to the car shows.
Good on you, mate. Well, you've done some good work here. So paint colour, interior and engine, it's not overdone. It looks good here today, and I just wanted to go down the road of the custom side of things just to see what you can do to these little RX2s. I mean, it's like any car, I guess. It's as big as your checkbook, right?
Oh yeah, it certainly is. I'd like to put a set of conies and adjustable suspension and things like that just to stiffen her up. The old steering's pretty good in it, all new bush front end. It's got real good the race ball joints in the rear end, done by Peter Cleary. So he's a race bloke that I know. He's a cousin. So
good on you.
Yeah, so he's done all that and Got all the camper set up and everything's right there.
That's good, Scott. Oh, well, it'll keep you young, mate.
It will, mate. Yeah, that.
Thanks for being on today's show.
Thanks, Fletch. Nice to meet you, mate.
Moving through, time for Danny DeVito's brother now. How are you, Johnny?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Now, you've got you're supposed to laugh.
I'm laughing inside.
You are.
Trying to get my smile.
You've got a beautiful original car here. What is nice is we've seen a customised RX-2, and now there's the transition to one in stock standard form. Now, tell us the story.
Well, a friend of mine by the name of Craig Campbell located this Series 1 RX-2 granny spec. Craig is a very good friend of mine, does pest control. He's been hounding this car quite a long time, and he gives me a call and says to me, are you interested in that Canary Yellow RX-2? I said yes. He goes, mate, it's yours.
It's just amazing that, talk about time capsules, these things.
Mate, it's very hard to find a lovely car like this. There's nothing out anymore.
It's still got the plastic up on the sun visors.
Mate, you can have a look at the car. It's got plastic in the sun visors. Some of the seats have got plastic on there. There's no rips in the interior at all. It's just a beautiful car.
And the engine being the rotary too, Johnny, it's well sought after, especially now in 2014.
That's correct. It's a 12A twin Dizzy, unmolested, and basically, how can I say to you, it's a beautiful car.
Mate, thanks for sharing it with us. And look, any guy that turns up wearing a shirt the same colour as his car, that's utter devotion.
Fletch, we've got to do it for you, Fletch. You're number one, Fletch, so...
Thanks, buddy.
No worries, sir. Have a nice one.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you.
Oh, it's that time for the Fletch Tours promo. Check this out.
You deserve a Fletch Tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodwood Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
It just makes it so much easier on yourself when Fletch picks you up, drives you around.
Laughs, lots of laughs.
More than what I expected.
I'm definitely coming back again.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
Small cars on the green here at Silverwater Park, put on by the Vintage Mazda Club of New South Wales. But you know what's so cool about the Japanese guys? Well, we've got a Datsun here today as well. How are you, Damien?
Good, thanks.
That's the way, mate. Good to support the day.
It is. It's good to be here and amongst other Mazdas as well and other Datsuns.
Now, Damien, you've got a 1970 Datsun 1600. These would probably go down as probably one of my favourite Datsuns. I used to refer to them as the box model Datto, the 1600. Tough as nails they were.
Yep, keeps going all day, every day. Been daily driven, now it's historic. Let it rest a little while.
Damien, it's a beautiful original car. Is it the old grandmother story here or what?
Pretty much, yep. A young bloke, he bought it off his uncle for cheap. I ended up buying it off him because he wanted something bigger, and he didn't touch it, which is great. So there's very little done to the car, and it's mostly original.
I love the interior.
That's the best part about it. Untouched, and it's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
And I bet the car just drives so nicely as well.
It's beautiful. Beautiful on the road. It's smooth, it's tight, and it goes all day.
And being a light car too, they were always beautiful on the steering as well, weren't they?
Steering's very light. Moving around through the grass here, no problem at all.
Moving around through the grass, it's like as though you're driving some sort of reptile.
Well, you know, I could motor car style through the grass, it'd be very easy.
Okay, now Damien, what's your plans with this car? Is it going to get paint or are you going to leave it as is?
Probably leave it as is. Paint would be nice, but there's a lot of money that goes into that, and it takes away the patina, the look of the car and the age. So I like seeing how old things are.
Good on you. How many miles are done?
It's only done about 45,000 miles.
You know, isn't it amazing? It's almost as though you'd rebuild the engine, not because it's worn out, but just because of age and it hasn't done enough miles almost.
I change oil more frequently than my underwear.
But, Damien, thank you for sharing that with us. You know, there's no doubt about Classic Restos. It's the show that gives you more. Damien, pleasure having you on today's show, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks very much, Fletch.
Love the Datto.
Oh, I love it too.
Good on you, mate.
Thanks.
Looking for the right oil for your vehicle? Well, here's a message that may help you from one of my major sponsors.
We're in a retail store at the moment, and it can be daunting looking at a whole wall of oils and deciding which is the right product for you. And so you do have the old trusty VT Commodore and you're looking for the right product, you need to look for a company that can support you with the right product. and also help you try and find the correct product for your car. And that provide things such as touchscreens, a technical assistance line 7 days a week, but also been around since 1926, Australian made, Australian owned, and has the backing and support to be able to put the right product into your vehicle.
You can contact the major sponsor direct for more information or via classicrestos.com.au. Time for Graham now. How are you, Graham?
Fine, thanks, Fletch.
That's good. This is supposed to be a small car day, yet you've brought one of the biggest Japanese cars ever built. What's the story there?
Yeah, Cedric, luxury car of Japan. They're not a small car, massive interior, and surprisingly light though.
Japanese big car entry into the marketplace, the Nissan Cedric, 1963, hosting the big 1.9 litre engine under the hood. How does it drive as a car, Graham?
It almost keeps up with regular traffic. You've got to push it.
Yeah, you've got to plan ahead.
Yeah, it's got a tow bar, but I don't know if I'd ever use it.
Maybe that's just to, pull the kids around in the backyard on a billy cart or something.
Possibly.
But respect where it is due. Again, we've got one of the larger cars here built by the Japanese market. Now, educate me here, Graham. In Japan, were they called a Cedric, or is that just an Australian name thing?
No, definitely called a Cedric in Japan. Japan was the biggest market, and outside of Japan, I believe Australia was the second.
Right. So how did they come up with Cedric? I mean, a bloke's name. It's not even really a Japanese man's name. What's the story there?
Well, the legend is that it's based on a book and a movie called Little Lord Fauntleroy, and the lead character's name was Cedric. And the Japanese wanted to give a car. They were aiming for the English market, and I think they wanted to really give it a good, strong, solid, respectable name.
Yeah, right.
And I think they lost it a little bit, the translation.
They lost their way, but that's okay because they were on the right track in the beginning, weren't they?
Well, they haven't learnt because they're still calling the current cars that we get, like Maximas and things, they're still calling them Cedrics in Japan.
Well, look, a Falcon who ran from 1960 and the Falcon is still running. We don't know how long for, but I mean, there are some brands out there that do keep running.
I wonder what Falcon translates in Japanese though.
I don't know. It could be another man's name. I'm mystified by the size because typically Japanese cars have been mid-size, small cars. This is quite a large car. When you open the back doors and you look in the back and look at the legroom in the back, it's very reasonable, isn't it?
The interior is massive. Surprisingly, it's pretty well proportioned. It looks a lot bigger than it really is.
1963, obvious when we look around the dashboard, it's fairly sparse. There's not a lot of options there, but we do have a radio, which, I guess that is a bonus for 63.
Yeah, push button. If you open the glove box, there's a little button, you push it, and it pops a handle. You can take the radio out, and it's portable for picnics.
See? Japanese, see? Yeah, you got to give it to them. They're thinkers.
Definitely. But like you say, looking around the interior, there's a lot of American influence in there too.
It's tremendous. I mean, you can see so many aspects too of Chev and the wraparound windscreen and around the A and B pillars, very similar. And yeah, EK Holden for sure. So it's quite a different car, mate. Thanks for bringing it today.
Thanks, Fletch. No worries.
And what a way to round off today's show. Got a young guy here on P plates driving a classic car, a 1975, a Mazda 1300. How are you, Ali?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Good, mate, good. What do you love about your classic car?
It's a classic.
There you go. It is a good way to round off today, isn't it?
Yep.
How long have you had it?
2 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And your mates, around the P-plate fraternity today, do they like what you've got?
They love it because it gets all the attention.
Yeah. It's really a nice car too. It's a great example. Obviously, it hasn't had a hard life. You scored a good car here, Ali.
Yeah, I have, Fletch.
The interior, mate, looks like the day it just rolled out of the showroom.
Yeah, it's all good, Nick. It's all good, Nick.
Yeah?
Yep.
You love it, don't you?
I love the car, yeah.
He's been hanging around me all day wanting to get on Classic Restos, and I think it's pretty cool to round off today's show with a P-plater driving a classic car and setting a great example as well.
Thank you very much, Fletch. I really appreciate it.
All right. My pleasure, Ali.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Well, what an event. Small Cars on the Green 2014, Japanese classics, even with no sushi. What a tremendous episode. And don't forget to lock in 2015. In the meantime, classicrestos.com.au is the website that you need for the DVD boxed sets of the show, Classic Restos merchandise, contact information on travelling on a Fletch Tour in 2015, and the major sponsors as well. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, where you can sign up for the Shannons Club, and Penrite Oil, offering technical assistance 7 days a week.